Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Chris Davis, and today we're going to review Beware the Batman. So, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen this series and you don't want to hear any spoilers, please click off this video, watch the series, or if you don't care for spoilers, please continue to keep watching. Now, I do want to point out that this series is a decade old. I just want to point that out. I gave you a spoiler warning, but I do want to point out this is a decade old. So but if you still don't want to be spoiled, I gave you the spoiler warning. Anyway, Beware the Batman. So I watched this series on HBO Max. It's on there along with all the other DC related stuff, and it was great. I enjoyed watching this series. I did watch it when it first came out a decade ago on Cartoon Network on DC Nation Block. So if you all don't know what that is or you don't remember, like in 2012, the show premiered in 2014 or 2013, but from like 2012 to 2014, Cartoon Network had a programming block called DC Nation Block, and that's where they aired all their DC related shows and shorts. So like Young Justice, Green Lantern, the animated series, Beware the Batman. And so that's where I first saw the series, but I never finished this series. Either like the series got canceled or I missed episodes. I believe the series got canceled, but they finished the rest of the series and like put it on HBO Max. Now, when I first watched this show a decade ago, I wasn't sure about it because of the animation, but the animation's still good. It still is good even a decade later. And with this iteration of Batman, it focuses on him and his butler, Alfred Pennyworth. But Alfred this time, he's a former MI6 agent, and Batman has a partner in Katana. And with this series, I like it because of the character development and the character arcs. The villains are less to be desired, because with this series it really focuses on Batman's lesser known villains, really no name villains. So instead of focusing on Joker, Riddler, Bane, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Scarecrow, more of Batman's well-known villains, Batman's facing off against lesser known villains. Like, you wouldn't know them unless you happen to see them in a cartoon or like you read comics. That's how less known they are. That's how much of the no-name villains they are. So the villains that appear in this show: Pig and Toad, Magpie, Anarchy, Tobias Wales, Humpty Dumpty. He's a no-name villain. There are some more prominent villains that show up in this show. So you have Ra's al Ghul, you have Deathstroke, even though he's more of a Young Justice Teen Titans villain. You have Two-Face. Two-Face does appear in the series, and you have Lady Shiva, even though I don't think a lot of people know who Lady Shiva is. If you watch like the DC cartoons, definitely you read the comics, you know who she is. But if you don't look at the comics, you just follow the cartoons and animated movies, you know who like Lady Shiva is. But I don't think she's as well known as Ra's al Ghul, or you're definitely not as well known as Two-Face. But there are more known villains in this series. There's just very few of them compared to the lesser known villains. And with the first part of this series, it focuses on Batman facing off against the League of Shadows. The League of Shadows wants to steal Wayne Enterprises' ion cortex so they can control Gotham's power system and hold the city at ransom. That's the first part of the series. The second part of the series is Batman facing off against Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent is painting Batman as a vigilante, as someone who takes the law into his own hands. Harvey Dent gets mixed up when he starts collaborating with villains, and he starts becoming like a hypocrite, and then eventually, you know, he becomes like Two-Face, and he becomes that villain that Batman has to stop. And Batman is also facing off against Deathstroke because Two-Face and Anarchy like hired a Deathstroke to like fight against Batman and try to take him down. Also, what I liked in this series was the Outsiders references. So Katana's there, but we also had Metamorpho. The only thing that was really missing was Black Lightning. If they had Black Lightning, then they would have had the Outsiders right there, but they were missing him. But this series is good. I like the action. I like the character arcs. And this series, I like the whole story arc in this series as well. I really enjoyed the show. Like I said, it's a decade old, but the animation's still good. It's not like as if you watch it now, it's like, ooh, that animation's bad right now. It didn't age too well. No, the animation is still good. Even 10 years after the show like finished debuting, it's still good. So if you haven't watched the series and you want something like to watch DC related, I highly recommend it. It's on HBO Max. The whole series is on there. So that's it. That's all we have for today. If you liked what I had to share, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. Share this video with all your friends, and all of you have a great day.